Welcome to the Crystal Self-Healer Podcast. I'm Carissa Weaver. On this podcast, we blend the magic of crystals with the science of psychology to help you break free from chaos, ditch the overwhelm, and master your emotions so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day. Get ready to unlock your intuition and restore your true power as we cover how you can transform your life using crystals and self-awareness. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's go. There comes a time in everything you do when you have to evaluate your progress, when you have to face the hard truth and objectively measure whether it's worth your time to continue doing what you've been doing. When you've invested so much of yourself into an outcome that isn't being realized, it's easy to feel defeated. But what if defeat isn't really defeat? If you've been banging your head against the wall, hoping you'll get a different result, this episode is for you. You'll learn how to move beyond defeat with Amazonite. We're going to talk about that critical moment when you are deciding whether to walk away, make room for actions that create more alignment, and ultimately bring you greater happiness. The card we're going to look at today is the Eight of Cups and its influence when it's in the what to call in placement. This card has a cloaked individual who has turned their back on 8 cups. Overall, there is a sense of isolation and grief depicted in this card, and you can imply that effort was used in stacking the cups the way they are on the card. I also want to make note of the edge the person is walking on, an edge with a steep drop-off to one side, illustrating a sense of risk being taken by this lone figure. However, there is also some imagery that denotes hopefulness, that this sense of defeat isn't quite defeat, and they are the walking stick held in the hand to help steady the figure on their path, and the moon illuminating the path forward. At its core, this card is acknowledging the emotions that get stirred when it's time to walk away from something you've put a lot of effort and time into. But it also recognizes that it's time to cut your losses and move toward something else. The hardest part of any path is deciding when the right time to change or shift course is, and that's what's being invited in for this particular reading. That introspection and reflection on whether what you've been doing has brought you the success and results you set out to achieve. Things don't always go the way we want them to, and I think we're all familiar with the official definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting that something will change. But let's also be realistic and understand that there is a certain amount of our personal identity that we create from what it is that we do, whether that's our job, our relationships, or our religion, just to name a few. And that's what makes this pivotal moment so difficult. There's this underlying sense of loss that can be experienced as confusion or as an attack on your identity. And usually what this brings about is a sense of defeat, like all is lost and not worth it anymore. For example, let's say you've invested a lot of time and effort into relationships that once brought you joy, but over time they became more draining than uplifting. You found yourself constantly compromising your values, your peace, and your needs to maintain these connections, but letting go also felt like losing your identity, who you thought you were. While the Eight of Cups is about walking away, it's not definitive in how that walking away is brought about. All too often, you might find that you are really quick to give up on the goal instead of the action that isn't bringing in the result. This is like swearing off relationships in an effort to prevent feeling hurt, yet craving the feeling of being loved and cherished by someone else. If we are to look at the Eight of Cups in all that it is representing, the act of walking away isn't solely about the loss, but about moving towards things that will provide you with a deeper alignment. The defeat is not quite defeat. In episode 56, I talked about knowing your why, those core values to focus on that help you see your guiding star. And that will be super helpful to you here, so I encourage you to go back and listen to that episode. However, while knowing your why is important to what you can shift here, it's not central to the work you may want to do. You see, the crux of the Eight of Cups is that this is the moment when staying where you are is probably just as painful as walking away. And that's what needs to be addressed. This is that horrible, terrible moment when you get to show yourself some loving kindness and choose your own path and alignment over settling for something that you know deep down isn't right for you. And when you're faced with situations that you don't like, you always have a choice. When you decide to face things head on, you get 3 choices: change it, live with it, or leave. I'm encouraging you to take the first option, to seek ways to create change in healthy ways that bring benefits into your life. This can take on so many different forms, and this is where all the fun is. In order to see this part as fun, though, there's a pivotal action that you'll need to do, and that's processing the emotions that are being stirred up. You can go back to episode 30, where I talk about this in more depth, but the benefit of processing the emotions is that it enables you to avoid being swayed by the intenseness of any emotions you may be feeling, leading you to more clarity and objectiveness when looking at the situation you're in. This will help you avoid staying in the weeds where you're bogged down with all the what ifs and the analysis paralysis that comes along with this pivotal moment. When you're not bogged down with all the feels, it allows you to tap into and be creative. And let's go back to the example of the relationship and break this down. Sometimes what makes relationships trying and exhausting is the resistance you are bringing to the situation. Changing this dynamic, for example, through creating and holding boundaries would help you in preserving your energy. That would be like walking away from the identity you hold within the relationship itself. If the relationship was causing you to compromise your values, changing this dynamic allows you to do the deep work to align with the values you want to continue while releasing those you don't. And if at the end of the day the change you need is to physically walk away, then you'll know that it's from a place of empowerment and alignment instead of a knee-jerk reaction to a difficult situation. Being the Eight of Cups, its core underlying message is around mastering your emotional response to the circumstances and situations you face. And when you're not at the whim of emotions, you create the foundation for clarity that what felt like defeat may not in fact be actual defeat. I'm going to offer Amazonite as the crystal to support you in this work. Amazonite's energy is both soothing and stabilizing, providing it with a unique ability to facilitate calming emotional waves without making you numb. This will help you process the feelings without getting stuck in old reactive patterns or in overthinking. By stimulating your heart chakra, Amazonite will help you connect and realign with your deepest truths. Your ability to tap into what truly matters to you will allow you to make decisions from a place of inner wisdom and peace rather than from external pressure. Amazonite stimulates the throat chakra, which will help you in expressing yourself clearly and with conviction. You'll feel more capable when advocating for yourself without over-explaining or justifying yourself as you establish and hold healthy boundaries. Amazonite is also a crystal that assists with harmony and truth, supporting you as you face tough decisions with inner strength and authenticity. You'll be able to find harmony within yourself and others while also staying true and aligned to your authentic self. So the next time you find yourself facing that pivotal moment where you're deciding whether you'll be walking away, here's a quick ritual you can do with Amazonite and a white candle. Sit comfortably, light your candle, and start by taking deep breaths as you relax and ground into the moment. Hold your Amazonite over your heart or throat chakra and focus your gaze on the flame of the candle. As you watch the flame dance and move, contemplate how you can bring this energy into the situation you are facing. Continue to breathe deeply and calmly. As you stay here, repeat to yourself, I release the belief that I am powerless, and I claim my ability to choose what is most aligned and truthful for me. Allow yourself to feel surrounded and supported by the energy of the Amazonite, and continue to breathe and embody the peace within the present moment. When you feel a sense of completion, you can spend some time journaling about what has come up for you. For those who are inside the Crystal Self Healer members portal, you can find journal prompts that will help you take this work deeper. And when you're finished, blow out the candle and either place the Amazonite on your altar or carry it with you as a physical reminder that you are never truly defeated, only at a turning point where you hold the power to choose your path forward. Today's pairing of the Eight of Cups with Amazonite is from a recent crystal and tarot forecast inside the Charmed community. I invite you to join me in this free space where I share these readings weekly to help you align your energy and focus your week. You'll also connect with others who are exploring their growth and creating change in their lives, just like you. Join us for free. The link is in the show notes. And if you're ready to be part of a space that holds you in your healing, a space where you can feel seen, supported, and connected, I'd love to have you join me inside the Crystal Self Healer members portal. It's where we go beyond the weekly guidance and focus on equipping you with tools, resources, and support to build your confidence in crystal healing and emotional self-care. Inside, you'll find personalized coaching, healing sessions, rituals, and everything you need to truly empower yourself to live with more ease and alignment. Visit 3charmedgems.com or click the link in the show notes to learn more and join me. Today's episode has been brought to you by the Eight of Cups, Amazonite, and Defeat. May we all find our inner alignment and recognize that what feels like defeat is simply an opportunity to choose a new path forward. Blessed be, my friends. All right, my friends, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you for joining me here today on the Crystal Self Healer podcast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review, and take the What Crystal is Best for You quiz linked in the show notes. Join me again next week as we continue to demystify crystals, how your brain works, and how you can use them so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day.